Hola, mi reina hermosa, soy Nilda Chiaraviglio, y hoy vamos a hablar de algo que puede cambiar tu vida en cuestión de minutos. Voy a revelar la señal más poderosa que ningún hombre puede ignorar y que lamentablemente el 95% de las mujeres envía de manera completamente equivocada. Antes de que me digas, ay, Nilda, ya he probado todo, quiero que sepas que lo que vas a descubrir hoy no son truquitos baratos de seducción, es ciencia pura aplicada al comportamiento humano. Algo que he comprobado en 30 años de consulta y que funciona sin excepción, sin importar tu edad, tu físico o tu situación actual. Y suscribid ahora mismo porque vamos a ser compañeras en este viaje de redescubrimiento de tu poder femenino. Dale like si y sientes que esto va a cambiar algo fundamental en tu vida y compart este video con esa amiga que necesita despertar urgentemente. Y sabes de quién hablo, te voy a contar algo que me pasó la semana pasada en mi consulta. Ligo una mujer, 54 años, ejecutiva de una multinacional divorciada, hace 2 años. Me dijo, Nilda, estoy saliendo con un hombre maravilloso de hace 6 meses, pero siento que algo no está funcionando. Él me busca, salimos, la pasamos bien, pero hay como una barrera invisible que no logro romper. Le pregunté, ¿cómo te comportas cuando están juntos? Y me describió exactamente lo que es el 95% de las mujeres inteligentes. Trataba de ser la compañera perfecta, la que nunca molesta, la que siempre está de buen humor, la que jamás muestra vulnerabilidad o necesidades propias. En otras palabras, estaba enviando la señal más letal para cualquier relación, la señal de la perfección artificial. Y esa señal, mi amor, es la que los hombres ignoran sistemáticamente, no porque no la ven, sino porque no les genera absolutamente nada. Pero al final de este video te voy a revelar cuál es la señal que ningún hombre puede ignorar, la que activa su sistema nervioso, la que despierta su instinto de protección y su deseo más primitivo. Pero solo si te quedas hasta el final, porque cada minuto de este video construye sobre el anterior. Empezamos con una verdad que va a incomodar a muchos. Los hombres no se enamoran de la mujer perfecta, se enamoran de la mujer real. Y la mujer real tiene necesidades, tiene emotions, tiene momentos de vulnerabilidad, tiene una humanidad que los conecta con su propia humanidad. Pero nosotros, especialmente las mujeres exitosas y independientes, hemos aprendido que mostrar necesidades es mostrar debilidad, que pedir ayuda es ser una carga, que expresar emotions es ser demasiado dramática y sin darse cuenta, nos hemos convertido en robots emocionales perfectamente funcionales, pero completamente desconectados de nuestro poder femenino. ¿Sabes qué pasa cuando una mujer nunca muestra vulnerabilidad? Que el hombre nunca puede sentirse útil, valioso, necesario en su vida. Y un hombre que no se siente necesario es un hombre que eventualmente se va a buscar donde se siente importante. Esto no significa que te conviertas en una mujer dependiente o dramática. Significa que aprendes a mostrar tu humanidade de maneira estratégica, a permitir que ele vi glimpses de la miúde real detrás de la máscara de perfección. Porque la perfección es aburrida, my reine. La perfección no genera dopamina, no activa el sistema de recompensa cerebral, no despierta el instinto masculino de conquista y protección. La perfección es predecible, y lo predecible es invisible para el cerebro humano. Déjame explicar algo que pasa en el cerebro masculino cuando una mujer muestra vulnerabilidad auténtica. Se activan tres sistemas neurológicos simultáneamente: el sistema de cuidado, el sistema de recompensa y el sistema de apego. Es como tocar tres acordes emocionales al mismo tiempo, pero cuidado porque hay una diferencia abismal entre vulnerabilidad auténtica y necesidad desesperada. La vulnerabilidad auténtica viene de la fuerza, la necesidad desesperada viene del miedo. Una inspira protección, la otra genera huida. Como diferencias una de la otra? La vulnerabilidad auténtica se expresa desde un lugar de autoconocimiento. Attention, there's a subtle difference that changes everything in a relationship. One phrase invites you to get closer, the other pushes you to flee. I could use your company, opens the door, I can't live without you, save me, slams it shut. The first awakens his impulse to care and contribute. The second makes him feel burdened and trapped. And here's the point that almost no one explains. Men need to feel like useful protagonists in your story, not spectators of a perfection that leaves no room for them. They want to feel that their presence elevates your day in a concrete way. If you never ask for support, if you always seem to have everything under control, their internal system concludes that it's not necessary, and even if they love you, they start looking for the exit. It's not evil, it's evolutionary wiring. They're geared, and no, it's not about feigning deficiencies. It's about admitting real needs that you may have hidden for fear of looking weak. Who doesn't like to feel cared for, supported, and accompanied when life is tough? Those needs are human, and denying them disconnects you from yourself and deprives your partner of the opportunity to love you the way he knows best, through actions. Because men, unlike us, express love by solving problems, serving, and doing things. Maybe he doesn't say it all the time, but when he checks your computer, he makes sure you don't run out of gas. The way out doesn't require him to become an emotional poet. Start by creating simple opportunities for him to speak to you in his language. It's not about being fragile, but about asking for concrete help where it genuinely helps. Will you help me with this light bulb? I feel safer if you hold the ladder. Will you come to the mechanic with me? It reassures me that you're here. I'm overwhelmed with this project. Can I talk to you and see if you can come up with something? That's specific, practical, and time-bound. The opposite, save me or I can't live, is diffuse, emotionally overwhelming, and permanent. The former makes him feel useful, the latter suffocates him, and this is where neuroscience comes in. When he can help you with something, his brain releases oxytocin. What unites us with a hug or a deep listening unites them through helpfulness. That's why they insist on when a woman asks simply, "Listen to me." And he responds with solutions. We tend to hold him back, and he feels rejected. If you learn to use that impulse to your advantage, you create a deep bond. Just open small, everyday windows, a difficult jar, a heavy piece of furniture, accompanying you to something that makes you nervous. Each action reinforces in his mind, I'm important to her. Of course, it has to be honest. Don't invent needs. He picks up on the manipulation. We all have areas where his help adds value or calms us, but we hide them for fear of not appearing strong. Mistake. Showing strategic humanity makes you approachable and real, and reality is infinitely more attractive than reality. Do you want real intimacy? Show your humanity without spilling it into your dramas, but into your everyday life, that you like to sleep in a little longer on Sundays, that sad movies make you feel weak, that cockroaches scare you. These details say, I trust you to see who I am, and trust is the most powerful aphrodisiac. When a man feels you see him as a safe place, his nurturing instinct and his desire to protect are activated. But there's a huge difference between vulnerability stemming from strength and vulnerability stemming from lack. The former is born from a foundation of security and self-sufficiency. You're fine on your own and you choose to share. From there, asking for support doesn't make you dependent. It makes you intelligent. How do you build that foundation? With a full life beyond your relationship, projects, goals, bonds that nourish you. From that platform, your sensitivity doesn't weigh you down, it attracts. There's a silent moment when a man decides without realizing it, whether he'll fall in love or not, and it doesn't happen when you show him how impeccable you are, but when he sees you as real. Perhaps when you admit something's making you nervous, when you ask for a hug after a difficult day, or when you ask for his gaze because an issue is beyond you. That's when the lens shifts. You go from being admirable but distant to someone you can build with, fantasy to reality, and in the long run, reality wins, because there he can contribute. That's why those who show vulnerability from a place of strength create lasting bonds. They open up their world in a way that invites connection, not burden. Timing matters. Don't uncover all your layers on the first few dates. Intimacy is a slow burn. Reveal little by little, and you'll see how his curiosity remains aroused. Men aren't hooked by what they already see completely, but by what they feel is yet to be discovered. If you tell your whole self from the start, the brain anticipates and the dopamine releases. If you reveal yourself in stages, each new facet reinforces his interest. Relationships cool not because love dies, but because the mystery dies. If you keep the spark of discovery alive, curiosity is renewed even over the years. It's not about playing games, but about understanding that trust and depth grow in layers. Intimacy is a dance, not a monologue. If you undress emotionally without pause, he has no space or time to reciprocate. Therefore, the second part of the signal that no man ignores is inviting him to be vulnerable as well. When you show your humanity in a serene and restrained way, you give him tacit permission to let his guard down. Many live with the mask of always strong. Feeling that he can be human with you is a rare gift. Whoever manages to offer that space becomes the place where he truly rests. It's not power over the other person. It's the power to create a bond that he prioritizes above all else. That requires you to sustain his humanity without judgment or later using it as ammunition. Men are more sensitive than they let on. Society taught them to hide it. If he gives you that sensitivity and you don't nurture it, it won't open up again. Extraordinary relationships are born from that protected mutual vulnerability. Behind the strong man is a child who wants to be seen. If you accept him without ridiculing him, if he can feel sufficient in his imperfection by your side, you become unique, not because he depends on you, but because with you he can be authentic. And authenticity creates an attachment that transcends chemistry. This isn't manipulation. It's understanding that male and female brains follow different emotional codes. When you speak his language, the attentive man appears, the one who plans for the future as well. You haven't changed who you are. You've changed how you communicate your world so he can understand it. Yes, knowing male psychology gives you an advantage not to control, but to build with less friction. Instead of rowing against the current demanding that he love like you, you sail with the wind at your side and turn his impulses into bridges. Third part of the signal: accepting his nature without trying to domesticate it. Acceptance isn't tolerating disrespect. It's recognizing valuable masculine qualities: need for space, direct communication, focus on solutions, desire for competition and respect, a way of processing internally before speaking, freedom of choice, and appreciating them as strengths. When he feels accepted, he lowers his defenses and can love better. If he uses the masculine to hurt or control you, he's not mature. These tools don't apply there. They work with available and conscious men, never to justify abuse. Healthy love is mutual respect. They fall in love with those who make them feel like better versions of themselves, not with those who correct them out of judgment. It's the Pygmalion effect. We tend to align our behavior with the expectations of those we love. If you see someone as generous and capable, they'll tend to behave that way. If you see them as selfish, they will too. That's why feminine power guides with admiration and shapes with recognition. Instead of "you never help," try "I feel so cared for when you help me. It makes me feel like we're a team." One phrase wounds and defends, the other uplifts and opens. Attention is fertilizer. What you water grows. If you water what they do well, it expands. It's not about denying problems. It's about approaching them with appreciation. I admire your dedication at work, and that's precisely why I'd like us to seek out quality spaces together. How do we organize it? Their brain receives validation before it demands and becomes collaborative. We women tend to have more emotional agility. We can use it to create better relationships instead of resenting it. Don't expect him to magically adopt your language. Learn his with intention. It's not manipulation. It's mastery of loving communication. And here comes the fourth part of the signal, the paradox of selective need. Men shy away from those who need them for everything, but they connect with those who need them in specific areas where their contribution shines. Needing his company for something that worries you activates protection. Needing him to feel complete activates escape. If you have a rich life and open up defined spaces where he contributes with his strength, you become irresistible. My life is beautiful, and with you in these specific things, even more so. That makes him feel chosen, not obligated, valuable, not indispensable. This mix of freedom and desire sustains love over time. Be careful not to confuse a request with a demand. Will you help me carry these bags? It relieves me when you're here. She invites. Every time we go to the supermarket, you carry them because that's your role. She instructs. Men sense the energy behind words. Ask from a place of appreciation, not resentment. If you're angry, first regulate, then ask. A request from a place of hurt is a disguised punishment and generates resistance. A request from a place of love inspires cooperation. I love it when we team up. Awakens the partner who wants to live up to expectations. Fifth part of the signal, specific gratitude. Not the automatic thank you, but showing the real impact of their action on your well-being. When you helped me with the shopping, I came home less tired, and I was able to cook that dinner we enjoyed so much. This nourishes their masculinity and reinforces the virtuous cycle. They help, you acknowledge it. They feel valued and seek to help more. If their effort goes unnoticed, the cycle is broken. Without reinforcement, the behavior fades. Recognizing what you want repeated isn't manipulating, it's loving intelligently. You're giving them a clear map of how to make you happy, and they appreciate it. They want to see you happy, but they need understandable instructions. There's another decisive threshold, the moment when he decides whether he'll invest for the long term. This doesn't happen when you prove you're perfect, but when he can make mistakes with you without losing your love. If he fails and you support him with understanding, if he goes through a difficult time and you choose to support him instead of pressuring him, if he shows himself vulnerable and you receive him with tenderness, his nervous system registers emotional security. That calm is extremely rare and more addictive than any chemical. Many have never truly felt it. If the only place he can let his guard down is with you, he will protect that bond with everything because it is irreplaceable. Seeing his humanity doesn't mean losing respect for him. A man who can open up when appropriate is braver than one who never lets his guard down. Conscious vulnerability requires courage. But that safe space is earned. It's not just anyone who gives himself up. First, he must demonstrate that he treats your vulnerability with care. Then, yes, you can support his. Trust is built by alternating gestures, welcoming the other person's small risks. If he uses your openness to attack you later, he hasn't earned your refuge. Reciprocity is the law. Don't support someone who can't support you. Women who create extraordinary relationships have clear standards for emotional reciprocity. They don't accept giving what they can't receive. Before applying all this, make sure the person in front of you is capable of loving well. If not, they'll look for an emotional mother, not a partner. And now, the sign that most calls them together, the integration that brings it all together, being a complete woman, strong and sensitive, independent and receptive, secure and human at the same time, not perfect, complete. You can lead a meeting and then ask them to help you with a tire, decide alone, and, for what's important, seek their attention. Be fine without them and choose to be better with them. This combination ignites admiration, respect, and desire all at once, because you don't hide. You integrate all your parts. For years, we strive to appear flawless when what attracts us is completeness. We hide vulnerability to appear strong, and we hide strength to appear feminine. True power doesn't choose between facets. It orchestrates them. You can run a company and cry at a movie, travel alone and ask someone to kill a spider, solve complex problems and say, "I don't understand, can you explain?" This multidimensionality keeps interest alive over time. Mature men are drawn to a woman with layers because there's always something new to discover. Boredom sets in when everything becomes predictable. Fascination is sustained when there's depth. Being that universe to explore isn't acting mysterious, it's being radically authentic. It involves reclaiming parts of yourself that you've been extinguishing, the creative for practical, the adventurous for responsible, the sensitive for strong, and reintegrating them. It takes courage. Showing yourself whole also opens the door to rejection. Some will prefer simple versions. Good, they're not for you. Those who deserve your love will be inspired by your complexity and drawn to your truth. The sign that no one ignores isn't a technique, it's a presence, that of a woman who embraces her wholeness and doesn't shrink to fit other people's visions. Your value isn't born from perfection, but from authenticity, not from simplicity, but from your inner richness. And knowledge without action remains mere entertainment. That's why I suggest you start today. Identify 3 aspects of yourself that you've hidden for fear of judgment, a taste, an opinion, a need, and choose one to express in a small, safe way this week. The next time you're with him, look for a real opportunity to ask for specific help, and when he offers it, express your gratitude in detail for how it impacted your day. Practice conscious vulnerability. Share something true about yourself from a place of strength, not a place of lack. Observe how you react when he's not perfect. Train yourself to respond with understanding. And write a list of qualities you admire in him, even the subtle ones. Then practice recognizing them in your everyday life. These simple steps shift the energy between you. He perceives you as more real, and you feel more seen. Authentic connection is born there. Don't expect instant miracles. It's a growth process. There will be days when you'll want to go back to the mask. Remember why you started. You deserve to be loved for who you are, not an edited version. Every time you choose authenticity, you train your system to attract deep connections. Real women attract real people, and the only relationships worth having are those sustained by shared truth. Commit to honoring your complexity and showing your multidimensionality. That's the sign no conscious man ignores. A woman who loves herself enough to be real. Not because she doesn't have struggles, but because she navigates them gracefully. Not because she doesn't have needs, but because she expresses them intelligently. That woman already lives inside you. When you let her shine, everything changes. If this message moved you deeply, share it with anyone who needs it, and tell me what step you're going to take first to be more authentic. Every woman who dares to be her true self inspires another. This is how a silent revolution takes place. Women who stop hiding and shine. I'm Nilda Chiaraviglio, and I'm honored to join you in this rediscovery. See you in the next video, where we'll continue exploring conscious feminine power. The signal no man can ignore is not what you pretend. It's who you are when you dare to be that completely. Your new life begins today. Your authenticity awaits. It's time to send the right signal. A big hug, my queen. Until next time.